Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is Digibrony. I have with me my brother Victor. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Victor. Nicolas Cage.
So what we're going to do is, obviously, I did this whole AMA thing, and I got about 1,000 fucking questions, and I wrote out my answers to all these questions, and it came out to about 47,000 words, which is almost the official length of a novel. And then I went to go record podcast style and be like, hey, I'm gonna read all these answers, and it just wasn't working out. So instead, what we're gonna do is Victor is going to read me each question, and I'm going to use what I wrote as a basis and sort of off the cuff answer the questions in video form. So we're going to do probably an hour-long video every day or so until we knock out this whole entire AMA. So The way I have this set up, I separated it into 3 sections, so it's organized. Section 1, and this is already going to be explained in the introduction video, which I'll put out before I do these. But Section 1 is going to be stuff about MLP and my channel. Section 2 will be stuff that's personal questions, and stuff just doesn't have to do with MLP. And Section 3 will be the more adult questions or weirder questions, or things that have to do with what I've talked about on Digibrony After Dark. So, without further ado, this will be part 1 of the MLP and channel questions section. So this is section 1A, if you will. I guess we can go ahead and get started. Victor, ask me the first question, and tell me who asked.
Ember Shard asks, what are you hoping for in Season 4?
Okay, I got this question quite a few times. What I want to see happen in Season 4, obviously, at the end of Season 3, Twilight became an alicorn, and, so this is a big status quo change for the series. There's definitely going to be a lot of talking about this in Season 4. Megan McCarthy said that when Season 4 kicks off, the first 2-part episode is going to directly continue off of the ending of Season 3. So, this is a big status quo change. I want to see more like it, because, obviously, we all know Rainbow Dash is going to become a Wonderbolt. That's obviously where her story is going to go. I want to see it happen sooner rather than later, because we can only have so many episodes about Rainbow Dash wanting to be a Wonderbolt. We can only go so long where it's her training and training. I'd rather just see her get it sooner rather than later. Same with Rarity getting her thing. We've seen her get scouted by fashion models like 3 times in Season 1 alone, and then we hit twice in Season 1, once in Season 2. It's like eventually Rarity's just going to be well known, and she's going to get her own fashion shop in Canterlot. So I want to see these things sort of come to a conclusion, but I think a lot of people have the idea that the show has to end once their stories are concluded. And I don't want that to happen. I would rather see their stories reach that point, and then we get to keep seeing it. I want to see Rainbow Dash as a Wonderbolt. I want to see Rarity running her boutique in Canterlot, and so on and so forth. And obviously, I'd also like for more interesting things to happen with the ponies who don't have obvious destinies. I want to know, just what's going to keep happening with Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, and Applejack. Are they going to mostly stay with the status quo? Are they going to improve their personalities? Are they going to move on as people? Just what's going to happen with everyone, I just want to see progress, because it will eventually get stale if it's just the same kind of adventures with the same kind of characters. I just want to see them explore new ideas. Not that I think they can't keep going with what they have, but it can only last so long. So, next question.
Okay. Tekranaman. So how did you get into My Little Pony, you just come across it one day, a friend suggested, or
you don't have to read the commas.
You see a fan-made videos like Friendship is Witchcraft?
And also, RK Monk asks, how did you... The general question is, how did you get into the MLP fandom? Please try to read intelligently from now on.
That one was hard.
Just read it like you... Just read it. Okay. Anyway... So they said, how did you get into MLP fandom? I got a lot of questions like this. The answer is, watch my celebrating 1 year of Brony.MOV video. It's about 18 minutes long. It's long enough of an answer. I'm not going to give another one here. I told basically the whole story of how I got into the show and the fandom in that video. And it also answers the question of, how long have I been a Brony? 1 year, which a lot of people asked as well. Next question, and this is pronounced, I believe, Berkeleyan Lion.
Berkeleyan Lion. What is your favorite location in the show and why?
I've always loved the designs of the big locations, like Carousel Boutique and Twilight's Treehouse. I love it, just these huge, you know what I mean, right? All the big epic buildings, because they're obviously designed for playsets, although I haven't seen any playset of Carousel Boutique, surprisingly, yet. But these are the coolest places. I love big buildings, I love architecture, just in general. I love going to the city and seeing things like these big awesome buildings. So seeing that in MLP actually did a lot to engross me in the world of the show. Next question.
Is it this one?
Yes.
What are other non-pony things you'd recommend to fans of the show during the drought?
I think this has to be when I take recommendations really seriously. I will if you really want recommendations, don't just ask me for them. Actually, give me a list of like all your favorite shit, and I will give you very personalized recommendations. I take them kind of too seriously, and I'm also really jaded because people ask me for recommendations, and then I put a lot of effort into it, and then they never watch it, and I go, maybe I shouldn't give people detailed recommendations anymore. So, if we do it on a person-by-person basis, that'd be nice. But anyway, in the meantime, just to throw out some stuff that you might want to watch. If you have a lot of time on your hands, like you're about to have summer break in school, or you're like off job for a while, go ahead and read Homestuck. I think everyone should read Homestuck. It's just so fucking long that you really need to set you need to be like, I'm going to make an effort to read Homestuck. It's not like just something you can just read. Would you agree? You're behind on it right now. How long did it take you to catch up to Homestuck when we caught up to it a year ago?
Probably a month and...
Took you a month to read it?
A month and a half.
Yeah. I read it in 4 days, but I read from like when I woke up to when I fell asleep for 4 days to read all of Homestuck. So it's long as shit, but it's so worth it. And to me, it's like the best thing ever. So it's like, on the one hand, I want to tell people to read it, but it's something you're going to have to put effort into. You have to want it, basically. And it's not over. It's still probably got another year in it. So, and it comes out like 10 pages a day. So it's just really hard to keep up with, you know. Anyway, if you don't want to take on something completely huge, but you still want something that's kind of big, kind of cool, like meaningful, read House of Leaves. That's pretty much the coolest book ever. If you want to read a manga, read Akira, because that's amazing. Watch The Venture Brothers. That's probably the best American cartoon that's not for little girls that I can name. Steins Gate, if you want to watch an anime that's recent and everyone likes. If you want something that's shorter and that I really personally love, watch a show called Hodo Musuko, which is also known as Wandering Sun. That show is fucking awesome. Next question.
What are your thoughts on the combination age-gender gap between bronies and the show's target audience?
I think it's awesome that adults are into a show for little girls. And, hold on, I'm going to actually read what my other answer was before I go into this. Yeah, it's like, you know, there's this combination age-gender gap. Obviously, adult men into a show for little girls. It's not that weird to me. Like, when I first heard about it, I wasn't surprised, because I've been on the internet for a long time. Nothing can really shock me anymore. Every time some weird new trend comes along, it's like, well, yeah, there's another weird new trend, you know? And I think people are starting to get used to that, and it's starting to get easier to handle. And that has a lot to do with why I think Brony.MOV has expanded so much, is that people have been on the internet for long enough that stuff like this isn't as crazy as it used to seem. And I also think that a lot of people, and this is speaking for myself, one of the things that I love about MLP fandom is that it really brings out authenticity in people, where you have to admit that you like this thing. And, you know, I hate inauthentic people. I hate snarkiness and all that shit on the internet. I just want people to be honest about what they like. And MLP, if you like that show, you can't be snarky about it. You can't, like, ironically enjoy MLP, because it just doesn't work out that way. The show brings out something in you where you're more authentic, more honest with yourself about liking it. And I really like that in the community. So basically, the age-gender gap is, the gap itself did not surprise me. But what does surprise me is how it brings out authenticity, and that's what I like about it. Next question.
What is your favorite face in the show?
Unfortunately, I do not keep good track of the faces in the show. There's countless great ones. They're all amazing. Do you have a favorite? Probably not.
Maybe Rarity's.
See, the funny thing is Rarity is...
All of them.
Yeah. In my answer, it actually says, I think Rarity has the best expressions because they... Obviously, what's great about cartoons is they can do all these big, exaggerated, hilarious expressions. But what's great about Rarity is that instead, they make it super subtle. They give her all these like subtle but brilliant and totally expressive facial expressions. Even though they're subtle, they're still extremely expressive, and that's what makes her expressions great. Why is that thing flashing on the camera? Is it always flashing?
Oh, it's because it's going to cut the clip into 2 sections.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Anyway, next question.
Okay.
I think that's
Boisterious.
Oh, you did a better job than I did the first time.
Is there a character that you would have liked a little more insight or some kind of backstory on?
I mean, every one-off character pretty much deserves more backstory. Little elements here and there. Obviously, everyone right now is really curious about Starsproul the Bearded because his name keeps getting brought up and he's, important to the backstory. So I think we all want to know more about him. I'd like to know more about Trixie, but not like I love what the fans do with her anyway. I'd like to know just what exactly is her magic, because my theory and a popular theory is that she does magician magic. I'd like to hear the show actually expound on that. Bring her in next time they're going to talk about magic. I want to know more about Gilda. I want to know what is she actually like, because the way I read Gilda was that she was super inauthentic, and I want to know what are her interests. What would she actually be into? I think Gilda deserves to be redeemed and have another episode in which they would teach her authenticity. That would be awesome. That's about it for now. Next question.
TF2 Brony asks, what got you into making reviews/videos?
Alright, this is going to be a long-ass answer. I actually have like a whole fucking page written for this answer. But I'm going to do it off the cuff. So anyway, it all starts with Pokemon. When me and Victor were kids, I would have been 8, so what does that make you? 6, 7?
Yeah.
We got into Pokemon big time, right? Like, super ultra big time. And maybe you can help me with the story, because I think I'm right. I'd probably remember it better than you anyway, but my mom got into the game Pokemon Snap for the N64, which is a game where you take pictures of Pokemon. And she's like big into photography, so the game was really cool to her. So she started getting into Pokemon Snap, and then she bought a Nintendo Power magazine because it had a guide to getting like some of the harder to find Pokemon in the game, and she wanted to beat it. So she buys this issue of Nintendo Power, and I think it was in this issue that she found out that if you bought a subscription to the magazine, you could get a free Pokemon trading card Game Boy game. And she wanted to get it for us. So she subscribed to Nintendo Power magazine. So we start getting this magazine, and mind you, as kids, neither of us read anything. We did not read. He didn't read until he was like 16, but I didn't. Even back then, even though I was getting Nintendo Power and I loved it, I didn't really read it. I would read the top 10 sections in the front of the magazine where it would tell you about like what are the top community voted games. And like I'd read the viewer mail and the reviews. Basically, I would read all the regular sections of the magazine, and I was really interested in this whole organization aspect. I guess I've been obsessed with listing since I was like a small child. So the listing aspect and the idea of ranking every game, compared to one another, really appealed to me. So as a kid, I started making my own magazines. I would handwrite magazines, and I mostly just would do like the review section and the top 10 section, and then I'd never fill out the middle section of the magazine. And I'd draw the covers in colored pencil and draw Bomberman because he's easy as hell to draw and stuff like that. So I made all these mock magazines, and then when I was like 10, our family moved to Florida, and that sucked. It was in the summertime. We just spent the summer there, and it was just this miserable experience, and I was indoors all the time. I didn't really have any friends, so I hand wrote a whole magazine, like a 95-page magazine. All the information was taken right from Nintendo Power, because that's my only source, and I just traced images out of the magazine, and I hand wrote it on lined paper, this whole thing. And that's basically like where I got started in this whole idea of like writing reviews and stuff. And at the same time, I had also conceptualized a video game. And I thought that if we if me and Victor designed a game, which to me, designing a game was you draw all the enemies, you draw all the items, you write out a game FAQ style description of everything that happens in the game, and you have designed a game. And I explained to Victor that if we were to design a game and we sent it to Shigeru Miyamoto, he would give us $2 million. And we would be able to buy every game console and every game with this $2 million that Shigeru Miyamoto would give us. I don't know where this idea came from. It just happened, and I really stuck to it. So I had this game I was conceptualizing, I was drawing all the enemies and stuff, and then I decided to do a sequel to it, which didn't exist, but here's the sequel, in novel form. So I started writing a novel called Puzzling 2 Golden Fantasies, which is a reference to Golden Sun and Final Fantasy, the latter of which I had never played, but it was a legendary RPG. So anyway, this explanation is taking so long. I started writing this book, and it's just this generic fantasy thing, but was like my first experience writing, and I really enjoyed it. And so I got into both like fiction and reviews at this point, and I started reading like shitloads of reviews online, especially when I got into video games. I would hang out on like GameSpot and Game FAQs and RP Gamer, and I just read reviews all day. I was just obsessed with reviews. So in about late 2006, early 2007, I actually started writing reviews. I started a free web site called Digital Boy Reviews, which is where my current username first began, and I started writing reviews on there, mostly of music, which I was big into at the time because I couldn't afford video games anymore. So I wrote all these music reviews, and then I started an anime blog, and then I started doing anime reviews. And as time went on, I really got sick of people who review things and just say stuff like, yeah, I thought it was really good for this, and just like, well, like, anytime they said something like, well, the pacing is really bad, or like, what's a good one from a video game review? What's something that you hear all the time?
The graphics sucked.
That is a good example. Like if somebody just says, "Oh, it has good graphics," I would then go, "What is good graphics? What defines good graphics?" There is an extent to which it's obvious. Where you look at like, if you look at something that just looks, you can easily tell it's just, top tier, and then something that looks like absolute trash, it's easy to tell. But when it comes to like judging two games side by side that are both like, excellent, of the same quality of
production value?
Yeah, the same production values, how do you judge which one has the better graphics? I wanted reviews to get into this shit. I wanted them to explain it in depth, I didn't just want to hear bad pacing. I wanted to hear what is bad pacing, what is good pacing. And it's so subjective. All this stuff is so subjective. So when somebody writes a review, even if they're saying it's like, well, it's just my opinion. So in my opinion, the graphics are bad. And I say, that's not good enough, because I don't give a fuck about your opinion. I want you to explain what caused your opinion. Not just, it's just saying, my opinion is it has good graphics, and then saying, well, it's my opinion, so I don't have to back it up, is bullshit. I want you to explain your opinion. Why does the game have good graphics? That's how I got into analysis. And I was kind of trained I had a mentor, this guy named Ghost Lightning, who wrote an amazing anime blog at the same time that I was anime blogging. And I learned a lot from him about how to make my analysis better, just how to be a better person and blogger in general. He pretty much taught me a lot over the course of about 3 years. And I read a lot of reviews by like Roger Ebert, and I've been watching Yahtzee for years, just all kinds of people. I love reviews. I just love them. Even the shitty ones, I love watching them, or even the ones that aren't the super in-depth. I still watch tons of reviews, like Paleo, he never really goes in-depth on stuff, but I still watch his videos just because it's like, I love reviews. But for me, I have to go in-depth and get into it. So that extremely long-winded explanation is why I'm into analysis.
You didn't explain why you're into videos.
Why I'm into videos?
Yeah, that was part of the question.
I think I'm going to explain that later, so
right.
You can go on.
Anonymous asks, is Season 4 the last season?
I don't know! We have to wait and see! Who knows? I'm not part of the production staff.
Obviously you are.
Next question.
Celebrinborn
asks,
can you do an analysis of Friendship is Witchcraft?
Actually, yes. When I started doing these episodic analyses on my blog in text form, I intended that I would talk about each Friendship is Witchcraft each Friendship is Witchcraft episode while I was talking about the episode that it's based on. So I wrote a post about Dragon Shy, because I had been doing the episodes in order on my original posts. I wrote about Dragon Shy, and I also wrote about Dragon Baby Gone. So I didn't have much to say about those, which is why I haven't turned that into a video yet. And I still am not decided about if I want to talk about Friendship is Witchcraft in the episodes. I probably won't. I probably now will just do a separate thing about Friendship is Witchcraft, because I don't have like super in-depth to go on it, but I love it. It was the first fan project I really got interested in. So yeah, I will talk about it definitely at some point.
Okay. Faint Llama asked, are you going to write/perform new songs/ponyfied songs? I was impressed how well Without Luna turned out.
I would definitely like to do more of them. I have written about 8 pony songs last year around the same time that I wrote Without Luna. Most of them were parodies, but like I wrote one for Dirty Work by Steely Dan and Judas by Lady Gaga. I wrote a whole bunch of them, but a lot of them I couldn't find an instrumental version of the song, or just my performance wasn't very good, or I had a shitty mic, and I didn't record a lot of them. So I've got a lot of lyrics sitting around. I've also got original songs that I wrote. There was one song that I had written called it was about the Big Mac and Cheerly episode. It's like it's this long ass ballad, and I gave it to Forrest Rain when he was like looking for something to record as a song. This was like a year ago. I just like talked to him on Rainbow Dash Network. I was like, here's some lyrics, and he actually had made like a 30-second clip of the song, and it sounded amazing, but he couldn't figure out how to make it like not get old, because it would have been like 5 minutes of the same thing. And I was like, I don't care, make it a song anyway. But he just gave up on it. He never released it. But I'd love to see that song get made by someone. If I could collaborate with other musicians, I'd love to do more lyrics, more singing, and stuff like that. But I can't really write or perform music on my own.
Toonie Peace, can you read my fanfic and tell me how you liked it?
Okay. This goes for absolutely everyone. I am sorry, I will not read your fanfic. I don't really read fanfics. I read like one in every... forever. I've read like 5 total. I've read like literally 5 fanfictions, and it took me forever to read each of them. A lot of the... like, I want to read stuff like Anthropology, and that's going to take me forever. So by the time I actually finish Anthropology and I'm ready for another fanfic, it will be months from now, and you guys will have sent me hundreds of fanfics, and I will not have read any of them. Don't even tell me your favorite fanfics that everyone likes to read, because I still won't read them. I will pick fanfics on my own time and read those and maybe make videos on them. And also, you don't want me to read your fanfic and tell you what I think about it, because I will be brutal. Grammar means a lot to me. If I read your thing and like the first 2 sentences have shitty grammar, I'm just not going to read it, or I'm going to tear it apart. So... sorry, but don't send me fanfics. I don't feel comfortable reading them or judging them. Next.
Okay. Angus Rangers 8. Do you think there should be an episode in Season 4 that revolves around Princess Luna and Princess Celestia? And how do you think they can portray the princesses' relationship with each other?
I really don't think there's going to be an episode that isn't either centered on the main 6, Spike, or the Cutie Mark Crusaders. I really just don't see them doing that. I think they're too focused on the main characters. I don't know what I'd do if I did it, though. I don't have a whole lot of... is that a battery light warning on the camera?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to cut it there, but basically I don't know. So I don't have an episode idea for Celestia and Luna. Okay, obviously we changed cameras right in the middle of recording this because the other one ran out of battery life, and we thought, fuck it, the image quality is not that important to this video. So, ask me the next question. We were on that Angus Rangers 8.
You answered it, though.
No, Angus Rangers 8. Oh, did I answer that?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, next question.
Anonymous. How do you think Cadence became an alicorn? Is Sombra her father?
Is it okay?
Is Sombra her father?
How about you like figure out what you're gonna say before you fucking?
I was reading the other ones before, and then this one.
Okay, how do you think Cadence became an alicorn? Is Sombra her father? Was the question. I really highly doubt that Sombra is Cadence's father. That would be kind of weird. I feel like she would have said something in the Crystal Empire. And I have no idea how she became an alicorn. A lot of people asked me, how do you think Celestia or Luna or whatever became an alicorn? I don't know. I don't have any headcanons about this, so continue. If there's no name, that just means it's the same person.
Okay, yeah. Do you think that if a unicorn and a pegasus had a baby, it would be an alicorn baby?
Well, magical pony genetics are really complex, so it could really be anything. But no, I don't think it would just come out as an alicorn. No, I think that more than enough of them have had babies together, probably, and not had alicorns. That chances are pretty low, but it's possible. Next.
Princess Blueblood, who is Celestia's nephew.
Prince Blueblood.
What was that?
Why am I even getting you to read these? You're fucking horrible. Like, just take your time. Don't just. I
had read it before.
Prince Blueblood, who is Celestia's nephew, is also a unicorn. Is Celestia and/or Luna married, or is he just adopted? Maybe they have another sibling. Maybe there's a third sister or brother in the family. Maybe someone is raising and lowering the stars. Next question. Don't fuck this up.
I didn't have time to read it.
Here. It should be right
Faint
there.
Llama again. There are a lot of questions about you analyzing friendship as witchcraft, which leads me to another 2 questions. Will you be doing those analysis, and or can you reflect over the Pony.MOV series? Sincerely, one of your loyal fans, Faint Llama.
Yes, I will be doing a video about the .MOV series and probably addressing the Ask Japalak comic as well. It's actually pretty high on my list of priorities, and I like it, and I think Max Giliardi is a cool dude. Next question.
Andreas, what do you think of the undertones of the show? Would these seem intentional? Something.
Are you a fucking idiot?
I can't read right. I tell you these things.
Andreas asks, what do you think of the undertones of the show? Would these seem intentional? Something the writers have put in for the audience to figure out themselves? Thanks. I think undertone is something that just kind of happens naturally in writing. Writing relies on the audience to have some experience and social cues that they bring in with them, so that there would be undertones. Like, I'm trying to think of how to explain this without just reading directly what I wrote earlier. I think that the reason MLP seems to have more subtlety than other kids shows is that other kids shows deliberately remove subtlety. I think they try to dumb themselves down to appeal to, or to be as easy to understand as possible, and MLP doesn't do that. It's easy to understand, but it also leaves in the harder to understand stuff, and I think this is a great idea because I think kids will easily gloss over a lot of stuff in a show, or if they don't, they'll ask their parents, what does this mean, and then they learn more. So yeah, I think that's why MLP seems to have a lot of subtlety in it. Next question.
Jared Cameron, who is best pony?
Congratulations, Jared Cameron. You are the first person to ask the most frequently. I think I got 100 people. I think I had 100 questions of who is best pony. So, this is hard because for a long time I've been debating between Applejack and Twilight Sparkle. Applejack was my first favorite. Twilight sort of took over because she has so many great episodes and stuff. But as time has passed, I'm just going to put my hoof down right here and say that Applejack is my favorite pony. Officially. I love everything about her. I could watch her all day, even if she's in a stupid episode like Apple Family Reunion. I don't care. I need AJ. Feed me AJ.
Fanfic suggestions?
Vinyl and Octavia University Days is the best fanfic I've ever read. The Day My Beard Turned Into Pinkie Pie is a hilarious fanfic. And another funny one with a great twist is The Great and Powerful Trixie Falls in Love with a Pine Cone. This also is a list of my favorite fanfics, and also the only 3 fanfics that I actually remember the name of that I've ever read.
What is your favorite episode of each season?
Season 1, Applebuck Season. Season 2, probably Sweet and Elite. And Season 3, The Magical Mystery Cure.
Ped O'Bear asks, if you could ship yourself with any other pony/creature in Equestria, who would they be and why?
I'm just going to read my answer straight up because it was beautiful. I said Applejack. She's dependable, she's lovely, and she's blonde. Double points for the voice. Best of all, though, she has a high moral standard, and I totally don't. And she's respectful and usually not too judgmental, so I think we'd get along really well. Also, if I hook up with her, I get an adorable sister, a total bro for a brother, and I could probably share stories with Granny Smith all day. And I don't think I'd ever get bored with Applejack. She's just awesome. So yes, I will marry Applejack.
Touching everything. If you were to change a character, who and how would you change them? And how far would you go with it?
I'm not really a fan of like altering characters in the show. I like them the way they are, and I'm really not imaginative about this stuff. Like if I write fanfic, I try to keep it with the actual characters because I'm not that interested in writing my own versions. I will read way deep into what the show presents, like getting super stupidly into how I read Pinky's mental self, but like I never involve anything that the show doesn't provide. Next question.
Kaidera, are you sure you will make it through this Q&A? There's going to be a lot of questions from people that love your videos.
Better than having a lot of questions from people who don't love my videos. You should do that voice, by the way. Read them dramatically. That worked better.
All right. Mr. OMG A Hot Pocket asks, was the Digibrony After Dark channel created solely for the pony hypnosis? Maybe I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Or what else do you plan to post there?
I hope it's like adorable that he can't read and not just obnoxious. Okay, so the whole idea with Digibrony After Dark is that I wanted to be able to post whatever I want without having to worry about it meeting like the same quality standard or trying to analyze stuff all the time. I mean, I've been making pony-related videos for a while on my old channel, but it's also mixed with all kinds of other shit. So, obviously, I want to have all my pony stuff centralized. I want people who like my stuff to be able to see all of it. But I don't want to, like, people who came just for thorough analysis and who came to see this analytical side of the show don't necessarily want to listen to me sing. The Suited for Success video, I sang for the second half of it, and there was like a firm divide between people who were going, dude, your singing voice is amazing, you should sing all the time, and then another camp of people going, I didn't come here for singing, why are you singing? You disappointed me because I thought it was going to be 6 minutes of analysis, and it was only 3 minutes of analysis and 3 minutes of singing. So, I thought, fuck it, I'll split it off into another channel, and if people are interested in listening to me sing, they can go to that one. So it's going to be all kinds of stuff. And I also wanted to talk about, like, adult themes that I didn't think would necessarily, like, people who don't want, who think it would be inappropriate don't have to see it. So all kinds of shit's going to happen on that channel. The pony hypnosis thing was just something that happened to be interesting that fell into my lap, and I was like, this is a perfect excuse to start Digibrony After Dark. I'll make it, and then I'll do some pony hypnosis videos. I didn't intend to do, like, 3 of them right at a time. It just was interesting to me. And now I'm, like, totally not interested in doing it right now. So, there will be all kinds of shit on there. Next.
You should read this one. It's really long.
Okay, it says, Writer Pony. I notice in the show that aside from Sheriff Silverstar in Over a Barrel and Celestia's Royal Guards like Shining Armor, we don't really see any law enforcement ponies. I've read fics where the Royal Guard handles most of the law enforcement and one where the separate cities have their own. I don't remember the name, but it was about Family Day in Ponyville and Applejack wanting her friends to have a good time with their parents. Blah, blah, blah. Fluttershy's dad turned out to be an abusive officer. What are my thoughts on crime in Equestria and law enforcement? I think it's likely that crime is just very low in Equestria, but there's probably a lot of law enforcement officials just here and there. There was a security guard in Read It and Weep, so they're around. I don't really have a whole lot of thought about this, though. I think it's probably just what it looks like in the show.
Zachary W. How did you create your pony avatar? I have been wondering about it for a while now, and I think yours seems very unique.
My pony avatar was drawn by the artist Mizu Takishima, who you can find her DeviantArt page linked in the description and on all my videos. So basically, when I switched over to having an animated character because of the fact that Hasbro was taking down my videos, I just said, like, hey, anybody want to draw me an OC? And Mizu Takashima was like one of the first people to say, yeah, I do. And what's really awesome is that I looked at her page and she does great art, and she also has been following my stuff since before I started making videos. So I was like, cool, it'd be totally special to have like the first person who started reading my Digibrony stuff doing my art, so I was excited about it. So I said, because I have no design sense whatsoever. So I just threw out, I said, I like purple, I like pink, I like white, I like gray. I have big blue eyes. I want to be a unicorn, and my favorite pony design is Sweetie Belle, and my cutie mark should have to do with analysis. So she sent me that picture, and it looks great. And just by coincidence, I think the eyes of the pony look really intense, and that's totally cool because I have really intense blue eyes, you know. I don't know if it's coming through right now on this kind of shitty camera, but I usually, when I take pictures of myself, I always look really intense.
We're kind of orange.
Yeah, we're kind of orange right now. Anyway, next question.
Artsy Rosie, if you were to magically wake up in Ponyville, what would be the first thing you would do?
I would freak the fuck out. I would terrify everyone in town with my encyclopedic knowledge of the last few years of their lives. And then I would start analyzing each of them and telling them how to get their lives on track. And then I'd ask if there was some kind of job I could do, because at this point I have realized that I'm stuck in Ponyville. And then I'd start flirting with Applejack.
Anonymous, Season 3 finale review?
You actually skipped a question.
Oh, did I?
Anyway, I already kind of did a review of Season 3 analysis. You skipped the whole Zoran question. I already did a review of the Season 3 finale, but I do have 2 more videos coming out, which will be... I don't know when, because they're going to be too long, and I'm lazy. Anyway, read the Zoran question.
That's really long.
I'll read it. In your winter wrap-up video, I saw that you had some Touhou figures. While I am not a fan of Touhou, my best friend is, and he recently became a brony. My question is, do you think that the brony fandom and the Touhou fandom are similar? My friend said that he asked this question at a Touhou panel, and the whole room got into an argument. I think that the culture surrounding the background ponies in MLP is very similar to the Touhou fandom. For those who don't know what Touhou is, it's a series of games that are basically it's a series of bullet hell games. It's like think Galaga, where you're flying up and there's bullets and you're dodging them and you're shooting bad guys. And they're both mostly known for these big extravagant boss battles, and the bosses have these gorgeous character designs, and they'll say like 2 lines of dialogue before and after the fight, and that's all that they're really known for. But the fandom will then take these characters and give them these long, expansive backstories and shitloads of fan art and fan fiction and doujins and stuff, and so they really create these characters. Totally the same as the background ponies in MLP. You know, the background ponies who Vinyl Scratch shows up for 2 fucking seconds and she has her own entire fandom enough to have figures made and shit, you know. So yeah, it is very similar in that regard. Next question.
This is Anonymous continuing. I also would love to hear more of your thoughts on the Ponyverse, especially your fascinating ideas on Destiny. I know we'll get some more of that with the video I requested above, but would you be willing or interested in doing a longer series on it?
I'm starting to get the feeling that I am going to end up doing a lot of videos on Destiny because of the fact that people have constantly been bringing it up to me. When I made the original video, I was kind of disappointed with the way I did the video because I didn't really explain what I meant by Destiny in the video. I didn't clearly define it, and I don't know. I didn't expect it to get a really strong response, and then it got all these video responses and all these people super interested, and then I was thinking, man, I've really opened up something big here. Maybe I should continue on it. And then all of a sudden, Magical Mystery Cure comes out, and they use the word Destiny 15 times in the episode, which I felt super special for pointing that out. But then I was like, wow, I really have to continue on this thread now, don't I? So at some point, I'll definitely do a video about Destiny. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and say that with Magical Mystery Cure, see, what I want to do is I want to do a shot-by-shot thing about the episode. I wanted to do a live stream where I go through and literally describe everything in the episode with an audience. But then I thought, if I do that, I won't be able to examine the songs and all this stuff. So I was like, great, now I have to do a video about... I have to do a thorough analysis video and a shot-by-shot video, and I have to do a video on Destiny and Magical Mystery Cure, and you can understand maybe now why I'm being hesitant about the whole thing, but I will end up doing more videos about Destiny, especially in that episode.
Okay. How would you feel about joining a site like ThatGuyWiththeGlasses, or similar dedicated to reviews, not just of pony material? I'd love to hear about some of your other passions as well. Your grasp of character and staging is second to none, and that makes for fascinating listening.
You made that sound just so dramatic. If a site like that wants me, and they want to pay me more than I'm making on YouTube, which should not be hard to pay me more than that, then yeah, I would totally do that. That's awesome. I'd get this established audience. I'd get to hang out with all these other reviewers. I don't watch anything on ThatGuyWiththeGlasses.com, but I'd probably start if they asked me to come on, or if anything like that happened. Yes, I'd like to do this professionally. I'm trying to do this professionally, so yeah.
Branching off that, do you have other reviews? Where would be the best place to find them? He has no idea.
Yeah, okay, so I like your addition there. Yeah, okay, first of all, I have a fuckload of reviews because I've been running a blog for about 6 years. They're all just all kinds of subjects. If you want more video reviews, if you go to my channel, you'll see that there's 4 other channels that I run on YouTube, none of which I post on like frequently or anything. One of them is called Thoroughly Analyzing Video Games, and that's me doing the same thing but with video games. I only have 1 video there so far because I haven't had time to play video games because I've been doing too much shit about My Little Pony. But there's a review of Muramasa the Demon Blade on there. I also did 4 similar reviews on my original channel called Tycho Ultimate, or Modal Soul Productions, where I talked about action RPGs. So those videos are very similar to these. They're not the same audio quality because I didn't have a new mic yet, but they are decent videos. And then if you go to my blog, then you can read a fuckload of reviews of all kinds of shit, mostly anime, over the course of the past 6 years. Anything from the last 2 years or so, I can vouch for the quality. It will be a decently written thing. If it's more than 2 years old, I cannot vouch for the quality. I was a shitty writer. So, I mean, the ideas might be good, but the writing is going to be ass, and I'm going to come off as a complete douche waffle. So, yeah. Next question.
Where should I go / who should I talk to if I want to get more involved in the fandom? I can sing, but I have little talent for arranging or producing music. Where would I go to offer my abilities to someone who can make use of them?
I wish I knew. If I knew, I'd be there. I'd be also singing songs and stuff. You'd be hearing me. I don't know. The way I understand it is basically that people just fucking write one another. They just go like, "Hey, I want to do this thing with you," you know, and then they do it together. I think Brony Curious just got one of the girls who does voices to try and get on board with his recovery comic reading. He just sort of asked, and she was like, "Yeah, sure, it sounds cool." So yeah, you basically gotta have the balls to ask people. Personally, I don't have the balls to ask people. I've been thinking about how much I want to do a collaboration with So Great and Powerful for a long time, and I'm like, should I just start spamming him with like audio of me singing his songs or something? I don't know. So anyway, yeah, next question.
Phantom02, what is your best advice for dealing with people that hate the show, yet have never seen it? Some of my IRL friends laugh at me when I say that Friendship is Magic has good animation and writing, and they chastise me for simply liking the show, saying it's creepy for me to watch a show for little girls.
If you can't reason with these people, just ignore them. I would explain to them how ridiculous it is to criticize something that they haven't seen before. And then if they were still being an asshole, I'd just give up, because I really can't stand people like that. If it was one of my friends, I'd be like, well, I know what I'm talking about and you don't, so fuck off. And that's basically what I would say that. I'd say that to Trevor.
Yeah.
Have
you not already said that to Trevor?
I've probably said that to Trevor. Anyway, yeah, so if if people tell you that it's creepy or whatever, just say, fuck you. That's my best answer.
Gedarliz Penna. Who is your favorite OC? It can't be yours.
Oh, it can't be mine. So I actually put a lot of consideration into this one, started looking at stuff, and my favorite is Cat's Millie, or Cat's Millionaire as she's known. Her OC she's got like this big frizzy mane, like it's fun. It's definitely like a humanized version of her, or a ponyfied version of herself. But it's the best of those, like, because she's got this amazing frizzy hair and these glasses, and she's smoking a cigarette, and it's just awesome. It's simultaneously adorable and so captures this feeling of like how she sees herself. I think it was brilliant. Next one.
Touching everything again. Odd question. If you could choose an existing pony to be, who would it be, and what's the main reason why?
I think that if I suddenly became one of the ponies, it wouldn't matter to me anymore which one I was, because I would then be them and not me anymore. So I wouldn't think of it as me being them. I'd be thinking of me as them. So I'd pick Applejack, because she seems to have her shit together.
8-Bit Phoenix. What villain would you want to see in the future?
I'm assuming that this is not referring to a villain that's already been in the show, but what villain would I want to bring into the show, which about 20 people asked. So I want to see a horrible, world-crushing Lovecraftian hellbeast, because that's just me. I think it would just appear out of nowhere, and there wouldn't even be a fight. It would just, like, devour a small town and move on, and...
Don't think that's gonna happen.
That's what
Not quite.
If I have to write a villain, it's gonna be a horrible Cthulhu monster.
Rainbow Dashi fan, have you played the Luna game?
It's not the Luna game, but Luna game.
Oh, whatever.
It's just called Luna game. I have not played it. I watched a video of someone playing it, and I think the concept is cool because it's just like this weird-ass horror game, but the execution just wasn't that impressive. It wasn't that scary. It was just kind of like, yeah, it's Luna game. But I like the way it like deletes itself from your computer afterwards. That's a great touch. So yeah, next.
K. Favorite cutie mark?
I have to go with Rarity because it's just this clean, pretty, diamondy thing. I've seen a lot of fan-made stuff that people make using cutie marks, and I've seen people who like who will take like the side of their computer and have like these like glass cutouts of the cutie mark with like the lights from the computer shining through them, or like an Xbox 360. I've seen someone did that to it, and it looked fucking cool, and I want. So yeah, Rarity.
Whose destiny do you think is the most interesting to watch for development in?
The most interesting one to watch is probably Rainbow Dash because it's so clear what she's going for and what she wants. Each step of the way you're like, yes, Rainbow Dash is closer to becoming a Wonderbolt. Like with Twilight, nobody knew she was going to become a princess. We knew that she was like working towards, becoming bettering herself, but there was no like obvious, this is where she's going to get to. So with Rainbow, we know she wants to be a Wonderbolt so bad. We want it for her. We're just ready for it, You should get closer to the mic, by the way, because I'm, like, louder than you.
If you were to make an episode, what would it be about?
Okay. A lot of people ask this, too. If I was going to make an episode, I'd do exactly what I did in the fanfiction that I've written. Don't scroll past what I'm trying to read. I would adapt my own fanfiction, which is about Pinkie Pie having really bad teeth. And she has to go on an adventure to find a mysterious element called Colgatium, which Dr. Colgate can use to repair her teeth. Because basically, growing up, I never brushed my teeth for a long time, and I have really shitty teeth as a result. And even today, I have a lot of trouble like remembering to brush my teeth. It's just I just don't do it. So I have shitty teeth, and if there's one lesson that I personally want to teach to little kids, it's brush your fucking teeth. I've been trying to teach my stupid brother that forever. Does Shade finally brush his teeth now? I still don't know.
I don't think he does. He takes showers.
Yeah, we like one small victory, but yeah, I've been trying to get my own little brother to brush his teeth, and he just won't listen to me. So I really want to teach little kids that they need to brush their teeth. So I want to do it through Pinkie Pie because we just see her eat. She eats sweets all the fucking time, and we never see her brushing her teeth. I think this needs to be rectified. If there's a moral I want to bring about, this is the one. So yeah, it'd be about Pinkie Pie having a fucked up grill and Colgate saving her.
You should make it Coltgate.
Why?
It's a pun.
Her name is Colgate.
Whatever.
Shut the hell up, Victor. Anyway, there's already enough puns in the story. If you read my fanfic, it's about the Plaque Death, which she finds out about through the Placronomicon. So there's shitloads of puns in it.
What do you use to record?
I use an Audio-Technica AT2035 large diaphragm studio condenser microphone, which ran me about $130 on Amazon. It's hooked up to a very basic preamp. Where is this thing? This thing, which is about $50, and that has a USB converter, which for me is about the minimum setup for what I would consider having great audio. You can have good audio with like a decent headset mic or a blue mic, but this is great audio. Not amazing audio, but
how many seasons would be a good ending point for MLP? Since shows do go stale after a while, you gotta admit that, and it can't go on forever.
The thing about MLP is that even if it gets stale, that's really not that big a deal, because it's not like it's going to somehow cancel out the already great seasons of the show. Like, even if it's like, season 6, who the fuck cares anymore? But it's like, I still have all these other great seasons. So having more content to me is never a bad thing. I'm always going to be ready. Even if a new season comes out and it completely fucking sucks and ruins everything, we just ignore it. If it comes out and it's just kind of mediocre, it's like, well, whatever, And it could even have like a shitty season and then come back and have a great season. I watched all 160 episodes of Ranma 1/2, and that show was like, the first 2 seasons were really great, and then the 3rd and 4th season are just like absolute shit. And then the 5th and 6th season, all of a sudden it's good again, And so even if there's like a season that's mostly shitty, there's still going to probably be great episodes in it. So even if MLP runs for like 150 episodes or so, I'm going to keep watching it, even if it turns to a point where I can't really write about it because it's not that interesting anymore, I'll still watch it. I don't care how long it goes.
Earth Pony, Unicorn, or Pegasus? Which do you prefer?
Space Unicorn!
Yeah. If you heard any of the foreign dubs, actual episode, or just some songs, it doesn't matter, of MLP, which are your favorite/least favorite?
Since that sounded really confusing,
Yes.
He's asking if I've heard any foreign dubs of the show. So I've watched a bunch of videos where they compiled like they'll take a scene and they'll like show you what that scene sounds like in every dub. Which those videos were put together by this Polish guy who was like basically saying that the Polish dub was really great and that's why he wanted to do that. And the Polish dub is really great. I've watched probably 4 episodes of the show dubbed in Polish. I've also watched about 3 episodes of it dubbed in French, which is also a great dub. Obviously they're not as good as the English one, but they're great dubs. I don't speak those languages, so I can't completely vouch for that, but they were good to me. And I'm really looking forward to the Japanese dub of the show, which is going to start in a couple of months, because I have pretty good Japanese comprehension, so I won't even really need subtitles since I've seen the show 1,000 times. I'm just going to watch it raw, and that'll be exciting. Alright, this is going to be the last question for this video.
Matthew Kahn 965887973. What is your favorite part of the community?
Obviously, I'm going to say the analysis part of the fandom, since that's the part that I'm a member of. The thing about MLP fandom is that it's really scattered. There's like this illusion of everyone really knowing what's going on because of the fact that we have these news sites that everyone goes to, and the information is really spread around everyone. Like, okay, everyone in the MLP fandom is watching MLP. So there's a pretty good guarantee that anyone you talk to in MLP fandom is going to have seen the latest episode and have some kind of thoughts about it, which is why we feel really sort of unified, even though we're really not. Because, like, in the anime fandom, and, I was an anime blogger for a long time, I could write a post about a new show, and no one could be watching it. I could be, like, totally excited about some show that, like, 2 people I know have given any attention, no one's writing about, and everyone else is writing about shows I don't give a shit about. So in the anime fandom, you feel connected because you're all anime fans, but you don't necessarily have the same topics to talk about. In MLP fandom, the main reason that it feels so connected is because there's, we're all watching the same show. But it's actually so scattered because there's no one place where everyone hangs out. Like, Equestria Daily is a huge site, so shitloads of people read that. But anybody who doesn't read Equestria Daily is going to have a different perception of what's happening. So, like, I mostly keep up with the fandom through Reddit, the board Are My Little Pony. And on Reddit, most people seemed to really enjoy the Season 3 finale. When it came out, I'm on Reddit, and I'm just seeing, like, all these screen caps and people talking about the episode and how awesome it is and their favorite moments and stuff. And I don't really read the comments on there, so I'm mostly just seeing fangasming. I'm like, great, cool, everyone agrees with me, this episode is awesome. And then when my video came out, like, people are going, oh man, it's so refreshing to see someone who likes this episode, because all I've been reading all day is people bashing on it. And I'm like, where? I didn't see it. I didn't see anybody bashing on it. I totally was unaware of this. I think most of the bashing came from this guy CR, who's like a big video guy on ThatGuyWiththeGlasses. Apparently he really hated season 3 finale. I'm guessing that's where a lot of the spark comes from, but I don't know that guy. I'm not a part of that part of the fandom, so that part was completely lost on me. So despite the way it seems, some people will have a totally different expectation for what the fandom thinks than other people. So I mostly see people liking the show, because I wouldn't go to a site where most people were bitching about stuff, you know? So yeah, it was sort of a weird dissonance for me when people were saying that. So I think the fandom is broken up into sections, and it's hard for me to really say what each section is like, because I only really know the ones that I'm a part of. So I know what Reddit is like, and I like those guys, and I know what the analysis people on YouTube are like, because I talk to them constantly, but I don't really know what the other sections of the other parts of the community are like. And no, that's what we're gonna end. So that's the end of this first episode of my unbelievably long Q&A video. This is section 1A, so section 1B, let's alright, stare off into space and let's pretend there's a bunch of annotations. These annotations might take you to places, or they might not be there yet because we haven't made the videos yet, but once the videos are there, there'll be all these annotations. Annotation. 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 Annotation.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Annotation. Oh, shit. Oh, the annotation invasion.
Oh, I'm being killed by annotations.